Hi guys, it's Uga and welcome back to another video and another book talk. Today I'll be talking about my first historical fiction and introducing to Tudortember by Julie the Angry Bookworm, The Other Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory. This is a brick. This has 600 pages something. It's higher than a Sanderson book, so you see, I think in small part it will have more, like I'm measuring like this, you'll have more pages, so yeah. This was my first historical fiction. I was in senior high school and I had 1 hour till I arrived home, so I had to wait 30 minutes for the bus, and then the bus will take another 30 minutes. And I was back in the phase of liking to read and come back to read, and one day I was looking for my mother's shelf and I found this book, and I found it interesting because not only the cover is the cover of the book, which I love, and it has Natalie Portman, which I think is an amazing role here, but I also like royalty and I really like royal settings and everything, so I decided, why not? If I don't like it or if I don't see I can read it, I go. So I drop off, but and I read it and it was an amazing surprise. I really like this. So The Other Boleyn Girl follows the story of Anne Boleyn and Marie Boleyn. I think it's Mary in English because here is the name translated, as they fall in love for Henry VIII. At least Mary falls because Anne was more a strategy game. I think the book is only told on... Yes, it's only told, I think, on Mary perspective. So Henry VIII is married to his wife Catherine, I think, but he's married to his first wife, and he has already a daughter, and he falls in love by Mary Boleyn, and they start to have an affair. Anne Boleyn comes back from France, I believe, where she was in court, like growing and etc. Starts to changing the way of courts by the French, by the clothes, all the things that were important at the time. And after Mary is pregnant by Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn enters the game, falls in love for the king, or makes the king falls in love for her, and story goes on till her death. It's not a spoiler, it's history, so history is not a spoiler. I really like the way Philippa Gregory wrote the books. That's the type of historical fiction that I like. It's not cruel fact, it's fact, but it has some romantic aspect on the way that it follows the main perspective that lived in that era, real, and it shows a little bit how it will be a fiction, the dialogues and everything, but it remains straight to the facts. Years, getting pregnant, getting sons, the names, the treasons, everything makes sense, and it's correctly done historically, but it's fiction on that point, and I really like this type of stories. Memoirs of Cleopatra, The Last Empress Romanov, all those types of books. That's why I like, and I think it was because of this that I fall in love with the others, because this was the first one. I think the pace, it's definitely, for this break, it's not the most fast one, but it's very intriguing. I really like not only the Tudor era. I think I read like 3 around this time. I read the sequel, which is the Boleynian Irretrance. I don't know the title in English, but it has to be with his 4th wife, I think, the one who survived and sent to a castle, and he starts calling her cousin, I think, or sister, was more like that. And then I read The Red Queen also, out of order. I wanted they filled my history on Tudors, like beginning to the end, on this Philippa Gregory collection. I think you will find Mary very likable, and Anne like playing games, and I was saying that's what I like about these books. Usually it's the court, like the strategic games behind the scenes, the dukes playing with the bishops, playing with everything, trying to gain favors for the king, trying to gain importance, gaining some assets, gaining importance on the kingdom so they become more relevant, marrying daughters to two kings, you know, all that game of powers between the houses. It's so interesting for me, and that's why I really love about the Tudor era, because it was a lot of time to game, because it comes out of the the War of Flowers, I think this is how it's called, or the War of Roses, not knowing about, but I think it's War of Roses, the white and the red. Maybe I will try to check the facts and put it here something, but that's what I like about these books, is the political intrigue about how behind, not so much the love story that does exist, because it wasn't lovely, don't get me on that, but you know how they play the cards of the husbands, the wives, the babies, everything. It's so intriguing and so good. I think this one will be one of the favorites, because Anne Boleyn is such an emblematic character that we know. Even here we heard about, there's a lot of mini-series about it, although there's a lot of series also about Henry VIII, but Anne Boleyn is also the top figures, like, with his first wife and maybe the last one, probably. But yeah, I think Philippa Gregory did an amazing job. If you want to start historical fiction, I will definitely suggest something like this. There is not cruel facts, and it has some, like I said, some fiction on it on terms of dialogue. I think will interact, and choose the time period that you like. If you like court intrigues on England, maybe the Tudors will be great. If you want, you can find something about movie stars like the 20s, the 50s, you know, and go a little bit on historical fiction. If you want to go for ancient times, go for mythical, you know, persons like Cleopatra, Ellen of Troy, some things that I have here, but you know, find some time period that you like or that you are interested in, and find the historical fiction that's set in that, or about a theme that was interesting. I think that was why I love so much about this book, because I like royalty, I like the conflicts on the court, I like the strategy games of power, and these, you know, daughters per sons per babies, and changing all these pieces on a board, and how they play their trumps, and how in this case women try to compete for the king's favor, although being mistress and having babies that will be always favored because it was their babies. You know, all this imbroglium, all this fight that they did, I think it was very well done. I definitely like, and it's one of my favorites, The Other Boleyn Girl. Like I said, it's huge, I know, but I think it's a great beginning for, if you want to go historically, start in the beginning of the Tudor series. But if not, I think this is a great one, because not only Mary Boleyn is an interesting character to follow as main character, the Anne Boleyn that we know, whew, she's gonna make hers. She's gonna make a mess here, and that's what I like, and that's why I recommend totally this book. And yeah, I hope you guys liked this book talk. Definitely this year I couldn't, but next year I'll try to include, if Julie does again, Tudortember, and start maybe my Tudor reading series, because it's definitely a time period that I like it. Tell me in the comments if you read any of these books, if you read Philippa Gregory, if you like historical fiction. If not, what is your favorite? I would love to discuss more about Tudors, Philippa Gregory, other authors of historical fiction, other books of historical fiction. I would love to discuss this with that, with you, this with that. You know how I am. This video, don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And I see you guys on my next video, since I post every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so don't forget. And I see you guys there. Bye.